Welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous and our Mage Chronicle Into the West. It's just us. Hopefully you watched the last episode, and you know what kind of ridiculous shenanigans are.
I didn't.
Yep. What we're headed into. If you didn't watch the last episode, weird, but okay. We're headed for some wild shit. So buckle up. Special shout out though to all our folks who are following, subscribing, sharing, talking about us. We appreciate it. Well, you know what? Yeah, even if you're hating, shout outs to the haters. But then a special shout out to our patrons who support us monetarily. The opposite of the haters. Thank you to 1D4Con James, Adele, Alice, Aiden, Alexander, Alstrid, Bernie, Chris, Doc, Emil, Jeff, George, I'm Lonely, Hi Lonely, I'm Dad, Cat Feathers, Klaus, Milo V3, Moku, Mozart D Minor, Nexus, Nick, Other Guy, Perry, Foog, Polka Dot, Hubris, Puppeteer, Riafio, Shexara, Starfish, Terran, The Nowhere King, This Is Hype, Thomas, Tom, Verhex, and Vortex. Thank you all so much for your support. When we last left, Isabel,
nothing of consequence had happened, right?
Yeah. Isabel came back from a visit with her dad, which, I mean, y'all got parents, I hope. Well, okay, sorry, that was really terribly said. Y'all have folks and family and people that you know, and all visits with them are always completely fine, never have any drama. So yeah, Isabel, similar to a lot of us, was stabbed by her dad. You know how it is. With a knife, with a supernatural disease. We've all been there.
All been there.
Yeah. She kicked its ass, I think in like 2 rounds. I think you took like 2 turns for Yantras and was just like, no.
Before I pass out, let me just no.
Let me do this, because if I look at the rest of the team, I don't know that they can help me with this, and I don't know what would happen if I'm infected and unconscious for an hour. I might not be here in an hour. It was the Black Plague, by the way. Yeah, just old school classic bubonic. Yeah. After that, met up with no, you were Isabel. Met up with Jules, went home, crashed. Actually, no. He crashed, the girls crashed, and she sat up waiting. Yeah. So I think it has been a couple days since then. Nothing of note has really happened. I think Isabel's paranoia starts to come down and be like, okay.
That slow bleed off of like adrenaline and everything. Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, without having space and not having Prime, even warding and protecting potential repercussions and stuff like that, that's all on, Helena and Legba and the imp and his big old bubble. So at some point, and I think the whole coven has gotten pretty good about this, of like, this isn't in my purview, this isn't my arcana, I've got to step back and trust the rest of the team, while Isabel has to be sheriff. So life is kind of settled back into kind of the norm. I was going to say the new normal, but at this point, the revivals have left. Well, the revival has left. The Jesuit and missionaries have also left. And yeah, back to the old normal, other than the urn in the corner in the jail cell there, sitting threateningly, sort of. But yeah, where's Isabel's head right now?
I think it's on. I think her mind is focused on failure.
A specific one, or just like the concept?
Just the ways in which um that the visit to her father did not go well. Um her lack of foresight and planning, her impulsiveness, um and just the ways in which that let down, or that could have let down, her family and her coven.
Mm.
And so I think she's really been taking it hard. Um, I think she, probably went and had like a chat with the priest, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of dove into mundane stuff for a few days.
Oh, kind of put
Um,
the mage stuff in the back to kind of
yeah,
percolate.
just for like a few days, just to like focus on being a member of community,
Being a
um,
mom.
being a mom,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, um, and reconnecting with Isabel's connections to the world.
Sure. Yeah, she's been really hardcore petrichor for the past couple days with all the
Yeah,
visits and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and then I think, later that week,
Sure.
um, she kind of picks herself up, dusts herself off, and it's like, okay, now it's time to figure out how to not fuck up again.
Cool. How's she gonna do that?
I think there's a lot of meditating um in her sanctum,
True.
her little cozy little hole in the ground. Um,
Really getting in touch with nature.
yeah, just like literally, just like, because it's already kind of a burrow,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, very
Um,
natural. Yep.
yeah, but just like getting in there and just like shoving her hands and feet in the dirt, and like, having set aside her clothes and stuff like that, and just like kind of just like going feral, and like essentially like hibernating for a day,
Mm-hmm.
but like in that transferring her sight over to like the other side of the gauntlet, and just looking around and watching and observing more and more about the little details of the spirit world, things that
It's,
she's not paid attention to before, because she's so focused on like the big impacts and the flashiness.
yep. Yeah, the biggest beast in the area. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
So more like, let me check out, what do rank zeros even do?
right.
These little moats that are floating around. What do they even do? How do they fit into the ecosystem? I dig that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a like it's a little early for it, but it's this like very like late 1800s like naturalist approach, almost, of just like enmeshing yourself in a place and just observing and then learning from it.
Gotcha. Very. So we cut to Isabel doing her best David Attenborough impression.
Happy birthday, by the way. He just turned 99
Ah!
yesterday.
Hell yes. Dude needs to hold out at least for the 100, please.
Yeah.
I like that. So yeah, just like, and based on conversations we'd had previously, this is less of a like, I'm trying to figure out how to control spirits, and more of just an understanding of spirit and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I dig that.
Is a holistic approach to what does this arcanum entail. And then
Mhm.
like I think she, you know, eventually starts wiggling in some of the other arcana as well.
Sure.
Like, where does the life tie in of like the spirits that are tied to living creatures, and um
Forces, yeah. Like
Forces, obviously, we understand those interactions pretty well so far. But the ones that she starts to focus on, and this might need her to like go somewhere else. But is the interactions with time and spirits. So the spirits of decay.
Oh, okay.
The spirits of like mushrooms and things like that. Is this kind of really interesting trifecta of like life and time and spirit for her? She doesn't see the death part of it, or she doesn't include the death part of it because it's just not something that she focused on. But I think she recognizes that it's there, and like it could be something
right
that a different version of Isabel as a mage could focus on.
Yeah, I can imagine she looks at it as, yes, death, that transition thing, but in this particular context, especially when we're talking about with life, it's like, but it's not really transition. It's more life, exactly. Yeah. Where it's just like, and then it continues. Technically, right. I guess with the nitty gritty, somewhere in there, there's the loss of, decomposing into heat. That happens there too. But it's like, okay, yeah, but that we're looking at the big ecosystem, the big old food chain. Because as much as people love to talk about, you're top of the food chain, man, nobody beats decay.
Yep.
Like you can talk about being the top of the food chain all you want, but you will die and you will feed the cows. Heck, you'll feed the plants.
You cannot defeat them in any way that matters.
Yep. I dig that. Do you think that it is finally time that Isabel actually takes Spirit 5?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know she's been just kind of chill with it. Like she hasn't really pushed. And I like.
I think it's because she has seen the other masters of her coven. Not that they've done, but so much master level magic. But the reason that she sees mastery to be important is creation and destruction.
Correct.
And it has always felt to her that is not her place.
Oh, very true.
As a bit of like irreverent thing that she is not.
She doesn't get to say, "Let there be light."
Exactly. And so I think it is more just a further embrace of, no, these are things that I can learn to do with the gifts that I've been given. And if I use them well, I'm still working in service to my God.
I dig that. Yeah. So I have to ask, because we're talking about creation, does she create a new spirit?
Yeah.
Like of a particular variety, or is it just more of a like, let me try this?
I think there's like a little network of mushrooms growing out of like a stump that she finds out in the plains of like a one tree that had been there a while ago.
Right.
And she just kind of creates and wakes up a little spirit of this mushroom.
The urge to do a little Toad from Mario voice, and I'm just not gonna flick that on anybody. Yeah, but yeah, I do love that idea of like, okay, I'm gonna go find the thing that is destroying, air quote, life, and then creating a spirit out of it.
Yeah,
I dig that, and just have a moment there, because especially like, where do rank zeros come from? Who knows? Like, what bursts them into existence?
Just sort of happen.
Yeah, because even mages, when they create a spirit, it's a rank 1. Yeah. So yeah, I like the idea of like, where do the rank zeros come from? I can't figure that out, but I think I figured out how to just snap my fingers and create a rank 1.
I think she just literally imagines the thing as like breathing, not life, but breathing lowercase L life into it. and like just like giving it a little bit of her magic for it to break down to grow that little bit that it needs to. Yeah.
I dig that. I also like the fact, and because we have never touched on this, is creating spirits and Goetia.
Mhm.
For me, always mirror to some degree their creators, right?
Mhm.
Very much the like pets start to look like their owners, or owners start to look like their pets. Like the meme, though, grab any random pet, they may not necessarily, but yeah, this, happy little toadstool. And it's just like, but why does he have a little halo of lightning? Don't ask questions, bro. Just that little bit of petrichor signature on any of them. Cool, I like that. Let me see. And feel free to continue chatting, but I just realized I want to go ahead and update the overlay while I'm thinking about it.
Fair.
Yeah. With rank 5 in spirit, is there a goal?
I think there's probably some time where she's just getting more and more used to it. There's obviously it has repercussions that she is now even more strong
Mm,
in the like rankings of a court of spirits.
right.
Um and so the weight of her words now carry even heavier.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I think she just kind of explores or it tries to explore as much as she can within Purgatory Bluff and the surrounding wilderness. Just her a possible new relationship with the world around her, or
Yeah.
not a new one, but an updated one.
It's true. You probably need to go chat with the Purgatorio, because the gap that you need to be a Bane, it's 2 ranks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I gotta go find
Yeah, I
it.
can just walk up and beat her ass if need be.
Yep. Because I was gonna say, I don't think she was
I
4.
believe she was rank 3. Yeah,
Uh
I'm 90% certain.
yep. I that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. So it's definitely the like just walk up and just, because there's no magic involved at this point, just the sheer knowledge of arcana. Just
Mhm.
yeah. So I think they're actually, just because of the dramatic aspect of it, right? We have, it's not that petrichor even goes down to meet the Purgatorio. It's just like,
Just walking across the bridge.
right, and just looks over, and there's some women washing clothes, whatever, in the places that are safe, where everybody knows how to properly behave. And the Purgatorio is just kind of watching, and like there's a little bit of influence, just trying to move the water, just trying to grab a shirt to come into the water, right? Because then shit can hit the fan. And I feel like there's that moment where like she hears the Undertaker's theme, right? And stops and kind of turns. And I imagine Isabel isn't even glowering or anything like that.
No.
It's just I'm watching you, and just the spirit's eyes kind of get wide, deep beneath the water, and just it kind of just draws back and tries to get very, very small, very animalistic, of like, oh, I'm sorry I exist. My bad. I'm a just come over here and just realize, because we've laid the smackdown once and burned her bad. And she was like, okay, I got to behave a little bit. But now it's like, I don't even have to do magic. I can come in there with my fists.
Literally just smack you.
Yeah, because I think, if I remember correctly, with Spirit Attainment, you can spend the mana and just be able to interact with spirits.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And just like, I'm over here now. let me grab hold of you, and watches, people around. What is she wrestling with? I don't know. She's grabbing something and it's fighting back, but she's winning wholeheartedly, because every point of damage from a Bane weapon, which is
aggravated.
All of you, is aggravated, which also burns a point of essence. So yeah, there is a new sheriff in town, and there's many of the spirits, that it had to be said. Many of the spirits who are already on a good relationship with Isabel. There's a lot of spirits within the town who understand the beneficial relationship. There's the spirit of the mill that Theo runs, and as a building, right, it's like, why would I harm the humans who come here? The spirit of the tavern, which is absolutely the beating heart of the town. All these things are just like, oh, hey, boss. nice new digs. Nice digs? No. Outfit. Just, and the recognition. I imagine that there are probably even some that do the, I'm going to bow, for many of them, they were probably, rank 2, rank 1, so they were already in Bane territory anyways.
Yeah,
but there is just that shift of
and those are the strong ones for the most part,
right? There's otherwise there's rank 0s zipping around that are just barely existent. And I feel like, because now it's in my head, we have the Godzilla moment, right, where Petrichor is now queen of the monsters, except one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what to do about that? I don't think that she has a plan for that. Because just realistically, like, this is as strong as she will get on this avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's, to fully take control of the area would mean either like massive changes to the gauntlet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, starve her out.
Well, to the other side of it, mm-hmm. Yeah. But we've made deals and stuff like that too, to not go down that way. So
she nibbled on Isabel.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't think she's ready to figure that out yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I mean, in my head, the upgrade from 4 to 5 is great for these spirits, but it doesn't quite work in reverse. She's still a rank 6. You're still not. And so she is on a different level.
It makes the relationship probably more strained.
That's true. Yeah.
Because it's now like, oh, you dare to be even close to my level.
Yeah, because she can make spirits. She can make the spirit equivalent of Ochema, and what I can't remember, they call them avatars, I think. And here you are creating spirits. It's like, not quite, kid. Yeah. So okay, put a pin in that.
But what I think that she does want to do is try and get more control over the other big important spirit in her life.
Jules.
Which is Jules. Let's be honest, she's had control with him for a while now.
Yeah.
No, the Tempest.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which you had chat with Abigail a while back. You knew she was headed that way. Things were getting a little rowdy. Heck, it was rowdy the last time you left, kind of pseudo inquisitioning. Hey, folks are eating supernals in our Tempest. That's not cool. And there was a lot of finger pointing, a lot of shouting. Petrichor doing similar to what Legba had done with the y'all gotta clean this mess up. You know, don't be doing this shit, or I'm coming for you. Had Helena's angel there as background, but never saw a real resolution to that.
So I think her plan, and she's probably going to go try and meet with Abigail, meet at the Tempest to try and start this, is to air out what her coven has, some parts of what her coven has learned about what the serpents and the seers are trying to do.
Oh, okay. So hey, we need to kick the seers out because they're up to some really shady shit.
This is what their organizations are trying to accomplish, to literally wrest every bit of control over the world. And having access to this powerful space and this legacy could be a part of that.
Right.
And we are rapidly approaching conflict, and we are rapidly approaching a new era of how mages interact with each other.
Yep.
And being proactive in how to handle that, and deciding that the Tempestari cannot just sit on the sidelines and be apolitical.
Yeah, it's a fun fact. You let that one guy into your bar, and then his buddies start showing up at your bar, and next thing you know, you're that kind of bar. So you just got to throw the first guy out. And in this case, you already have seers in the Tempest. You already have seers leading the Tempestari. You had a seer offered as a mentor, and Isabel, unsurprisingly, went, I'm going to choose secret option C and be unaffiliated. Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, I dig that.
Love a secret third thing.
Yep. So, couple days to make sure town is secure, check in with Jules, because, I mean, this jumping back and forth, gotta check in, be mom, hang out. And then be like, okay, I'm gonna take a flight. Which, for us, modern era, oh yeah, sure, yeah, okay, happy trails. For Jules, it's probably gotten to that level now where it's like, okay, yeah, fly safe. Watch for thunder. Never mind. Sorry, that was dumb to even say. So yeah, we take off. Now, here's a question, because I know you've always flown in the material world, potentially, but not really, a risk of being seen. You're flying up high enough, nobody's going to recognize you compared to a bird. You're just going to be a really large bird, or a bird close. Yeah, whatever. Have you thought about flying there through the shadow?
Funnily enough, I had thought about that.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to suggest it. So yeah, I'm glad we're on the same wavelength.
Good, because I had a couple narrative notes.
Okay, cool.
Especially depending on when, because I thought you were going to try this a while back.
Mm-hmm.
I have to adjust a little bit, but yeah. In my head, we have Isabel using her legacy to step into the shadow,
Mm-hmm.
which now is a little bit different because, like, now it's, hey, the rank 5 is here. What's the meme? You know, the tens are talking quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all the spirits in the area just scatter because on the other side of the gauntlet, away from her ladyship of darkness, there is nobody else who is as big as Petrichor to begin with. Now she's rank 5 and just takes to the air. I imagine still giving herself wings and flying in that regard. And the travel through the shadow is different, right? You can fly lower to the ground. So in my head, we have some of the Neverending Story-esque, just the music is playing. We're just having a good old time, like swooping over, trees, getting down low, stuff that normally you would just have to, I'm going to be very professional flying high, but instead zooming here and just watching like we have the overhead helicopter shot of Jurassic Park, right? Spirits moving and stuff like that. And previously, if you had done this, there'd be like the occasional like large one that kind of looks up and is like, I could take. But at this point now, yeah, there are rank 5s out there. There are rank 4s out there that like, okay, I could tussle, but it's predator meeting predator, which I mean, all of the shadow is. We don't fight bears and don't fight bears. Bears don't fight wolves. Well, rather they don't hunt them because there's a sincere risk of damage. Predators hunt prey, right? And so there is, this flight over, in my head, heading south down towards the Gulf, and there are towns where you have, spirits of, communities and their kind of representation, or the large spirit of somebody and their large herd of cattle with like this massive like golden bull. Yeah. Moving through, and just there is, I think for Isabel, for Petrichor, the idea of like, this is more natural to fly through now, especially where we're getting to werewolf territory here, where it's like, I'm both. I am human, but I am spirit. I have the ability to grab hold of these things. But then the either respect or fear, because all these spirits are outside of your court. So there is no like, oh, we have a relationship. Everything that sees her flees or just watches warily, because at this point she's one of the top dogs, right? I'm sure eventually there's like another flying spirit that comes by and you have the like parallel looking at each other, kind of check out kind of thing. But for many of them, they don't even know what to categorize you as, because many of them, you look human. They know what humans are. Some of them are spawned from human concepts and stuff like that. But you don't cross over the gauntlet and just cruise through here, through all this different territory. So yeah, it's just compared to flying through the mundane, which is like, yep, clouds, trees. Here's the Mississippi. Let me just follow that south. This, like, I will say this. You get to the Mississippi, and that's a big old river spirit who looks up at you, and you go, "No, I'm sorry."
Howdy, ma'am.
Let me swing around there.
Just passing through. Sorry.
Yep. I apologize. I looked in your direction. And then following that south to the Gulf, which is yet another big one. But for you, it's a little bit different, since flying through here, you see the Gulf down below, the big spirit of that ocean, just absolutely like, I break shit. Hurricane season, that's me, right? But above it is the spirit of the Tempest, right? Which we've kind of talked about and kind of glanced at and seen that it is both a spirit and a verge. Right. And where
it exists in all three
at
places,
once,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it's like it's on the Gauntlet side, it's on the Shadow side, and then it's like in the Twilight, but then it's also like it exists to be looked at in the flesh.
Yep. And there's
to borrow the werewolf term.
Yes. And then there's probably a mental note of like, I should talk to Legba about the Temenos or the Anima Mundi. Be like, it's probably, yeah. But where the other large spirits are like, come over here and I will fight you. Because you don't have the same relationship you do with the Ladyship of Darkness. But the Tempest sees you. And in my head, on the Shadow side, it is far more both feral and anthropomorphic. It is more animalistic, I think is probably the better way to say it. And it sees you, and it is a terrifying monster of jagged thunderbolt claws and, flashing teeth and everything that makes a storm. And it is the most welcoming, I almost said lovable and cuddly, but that it's not, but it is absolutely, it is
home.
It is home. I was going to say it is your pet monster, but it's not even your pet monster. It's just the very familiar, scary thing. Congratulations, you made friends with the monster in the closet. Yeah, and it's like, oh, actually, no, he is terrifying. Yes, he will rip you apart, but we're good. We're buddies. And just soaring into it, and then do you use your legacy to return back to the material with a big yeah, okay.
I do.
I know, but I just, are you sure? Right.
Sure, yes.
I
imagine she's the only one. I imagine it's kind of tradition.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I actually legitimately forgot that they can all do this because it's your legacy attainment. So there's the sonic boom, thunder, crack, and everybody looks up and, all right, who's home? And soaring in, because everybody, has their own mode of transportation. Abigail loves her witch's broom and stuff like that. Yeah. And Isabel Petrichor, flying in storm crow wings.
Golden Eagle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Golden Eagle.
Yeah. And just flying into the Tempest, which, as with every visit, yes, we're walking on cloud, and it has been rearranged yet again. I think at this point, Isabel's Petrichor is very familiar with the fact that it is constantly being reshaped by the Tempestari, by the Tempest itself, into new shapes, into new functions. Somebody's like, hey, I'm going to stay here for a week. They shape a chunk of cloud into, a cottage. So it's constantly going through that. And you find yourself not in the middle of a civil war, but boy, do the ever-present Seer and Diamond camps look like castles now. Like previously, they kind of one-upped each other with, flashy kind of mansion stuff, which Petrichor has never bothered with, never cared about. You guys go do your things. I'm going to hang out here in the middle where a lot of people have their stuff. And previously, there was them on their different camps. Make sure I'm in frame here for YouTube. And then a smattering of different buildings and structures and tents and stuff like that in the middle. Now it is like World War I, pre-World War I. We have these big, absolutely like practical castle kind of things, like arrow slits, because at the end of the day, for a lot of mage stuff, you need line of sight or line of effect. So arrow slits all of a sudden become useful again for defenders, because I can see out, you can't see me. And like crenellations and battlements, and admittedly, it is the Tempestari, and they're a little bit dramatic and over the top. So of course they look like gnarly castles and stuff like that, but the space in between doesn't have foxholes or trenches or anything like that, but it is just clear. Like there's no space for meetings. The big like amphitheater that you kind of shouted people down at is not there. It's just a big empty space, so anybody walking through is completely exposed and can be seen. And as you arrive, there isn't like magical gunfire or anything like that. But you definitely see swooping over lots of folks here, lots of folks there, and just a smattering of folks in the middle. And including Abigail, who's, pretty easy for you to spot. She's your mentor. So there's that just kind of sixth sense of there she is.
Where is she at?
Out in the middle amongst other folks that you recognize as being unaffiliated. Right. And like, I will clarify that there are some Seer and Diamond Order folks out here walking and talking as well, but it's definitely like professional, I'm on business kind of attitudes, and not the kind of like we're hanging out, we're comparing notes attitude that usually the Tempestari had. Because they're loud, they're boisterous, they fight and challenge because that's who they are inside. They literally have storms in them. But yeah, for these folks, everybody is like, let's share some information, let's agree to meet later. Did you get the TPS report? Cool, great. And then they're breaking and separating out. Really limited conversations other than basically the affiliated folks who are kind of like standing together in little cliques.
Yeah, so she swoops down, just lands next to Abigail, and just gives a sort of deference nod. Um, and just like, so how are things?
She looks at you. They're going. And there's the other Tempestari who are totally, they have names, you know who they are. And there's definitely like some rueful smiles of like, yeah, Abigail kind of clues you in that like she arrives a couple days before you had. Actually, at this point, week and a half. So
more like a week, yeah.
And it was like this then, and according to your other unaffiliated allies or Tempestari, it's been this way for like a month or so. It started with recriminations and who was supporting who with the Supernal Eater name kind of fell out of my head. And that, of course, any kind of finger pointing escalated into other finger pointing. And as is kind of standard for a two-party system, everybody just divides up regardless of actual discussion. It's just like, oh, you can't point fingers at us, we're all together, and everybody has kind of rallied together into their different little hangouts. And there's some back and forth. There's a couple folks who will come out and seem to be trying to de-escalate, but it's hard to de-escalate Tempest story, and it's really hard to de-escalate at the Tempest. There's just so much essence of storm and volatility that
yeah makes sense. So what if I didn't want to de-escalate?
Abigail looks at you and she's like, haha, you're joking.
I don't know that I am.
I mean, and Abigail looks at you and then looks over at the Seers, and she says, I mean, technically they are our folks, and if things are really escalated, I don't even think arcane duels are going to be what everybody resorts to. This will be the hot war in the Tempest. Tempest will survive it, at least. I don't think anything. And she kind of looks down and stomps her feet, which is really weird because it's a cloud, and somehow a cloud goes thunk. Because she needed it to. Tempest will survive any of this, but I don't know if the Order will. I don't know. Maybe if we, and she looks at the other unaffiliated folks and she's like, maybe if we bail before Isabel does whatever she's going to do, before Petrichor does whatever she's going to do, maybe then we'll keep the Order around. And, Abigail teasing you, but also is like, you better let me know exactly what you're doing so I can get out of the line of fire.
When it comes down to it, you feel it, I feel it. Look at these fucking castles. They feel it. We're approaching turning point in the world of mages. Advancements in the world, in the sleeper world itself, will be changing. And if my enemies complete their current plans, then the Iron Gods will have fully wrested control of the world.
The other two Tempest are there with you are like, what are you talking about? Abigail, who I don't think you fully clued in on, but at least is familiar with the fact that the serpents were causing trouble and stuff like that, kind of gives you this what the fuck are you talking about? What level of
imagine a machine with a god of malice at its heart, turning every gear and every limb to control exactly what happens in our fallen world.
For Abigail, who's been kind of prepped for some of this, is shit. The other two are absolutely I think one of them hits you with, do you speak true? Are you serious in high speech?
Yes.
What kind of machine? Like, because you can see in their eyes, and they're imagining some kind of like tank, right?
No. An extra dimensional god machine.
He said the thing. He said the thing. They said the thing. They said the thing. And it's just like the gears turn as they start to realize like what that could possibly mean, and like they don't have the view that you paid for a year of your life for,
right?
But there is a definite like, hold up, like a god machine, that's a hell of a name to throw around, and something that the exarchs are pushing for. It's like, okay, that does sound bad. And Petrichor has earned enough clout with the
crazy shit that she pulls.
Right. And like the fact that she went into the Tempest and came out, the fact that, she came and reported, this blasphemy that was happening within it. So yeah, there's enough clout, especially with the unaligned Tempest story, that they're like, okay, we're listening. All right. And it's been a minute, and for the unaffiliated mages, they don't have like the concilium meetings where you show off that, hey, I'm a master now, or anything like that. I mean, for her, it's a new thing, but it's far more action oriented for Tempest anyways, I feel. And just being like, no, she might not be a master, but she went into the Tempest and came out. I dare anybody to gainsay.
Yeah. And
so Abigail kind of looks over, and like the circle kind of gathers in a little. Yeah. And they're like, okay, so like, what are we talking about here for escalation? What are you going to do?
I think that we will have to make the decision that in view of the possibility that the Tempest could be wielded as a tool by the Seers, that we must rid ourselves of our neutral stance, of the politics of the ground.
And like saying, hey, we're not going to be neutral anymore to the neutral party. But they're looking and they're like, yeah. And again, like, I think in unison, you all look over to the Seer Castle, because like, listen, like, we're not super huge with what the Diamond Order is doing, but one of these groups is a bunch of fascists. The other group isn't. So if you're unsure which team to join, it's the team that isn't the fascists.
We're a little early for fascism. In this part, we're probably still supporting monarchists, but yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what I was talking about.
There couldn't possibly be a context with which that sentence needs to be spoken.
It shouldn't need to be, but anyways, yeah, moving on. Chris, I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So they're looking.
I just love that you're the one saying these things.
Listen,
I'm usually the one that bites them off.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to do it for you.
There you go.
So Abigail kind of looks and says, well, I'm sure you have some kind of big speech prepared. No, wait, you don't have a big speech prepared, but you have a big speech to give, right? And then like she's already turning, like she's gonna go start collecting up folks. Where do you plan to kind of give your big rally speech? like here in kind of the neutral ground, or are you going to go over towards the Diamond Order and be like, yo, because saying it to the Seers isn't going to do anything. They're going to be like, oh yeah, right, yeah, we should leave. That's not happening, and you know that. So
I think she goes to meet with like the leaders of the Diamond faction.
Sure. Dig up names I haven't had in a minute. So, not necessarily, because I mean, leadership in the Tempest story is not a nice, neat hierarchical thing. It's kind of more.
No, but in this sort of thing, where it's like, about to be.
Oh yeah, you have.
There's definitely leadership, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to. Like, there is no like, oh, this is the leader of this, but it's like, nope. We've gathered the war camp together. This is lit, and it's. It's not all the Tempest story here anyways. There's probably somebody else who might, jockey for position. What I was going to say is leadership is kind of handled in, arcane arm wrestling matches. But yeah, a woman who is to Chris's own heart. She we're going to use the term. She's straight up muscle mommy. Like, she comes out, she's got guns out, bronzed, and Greek style, not Roman style toga or tunic, excuse me. And her name is Nalita. And yeah, and she 100% Greek and proud of it. And so, short of a translator here, because man, Legba just makes that so much easier. Everybody kind of switches into high speech. Yeah, I know. It's okay because Abigail just walks up and just kind of loops her arm in yours, because she is fluent in high speech. It is just more than happy to translate for you. That way we don't have the halting high speech to convince everybody, right? But yeah, Nalita comes out with, I'm ready to throw down. You definitely you know her. She's an adamantine arrow. Like the gang was like, hey, we're gonna fight, and she goes, great. And yeah, I would not be surprised if Helena has stories of her, right? So she's because I'll rely on Chris here. It's Thunderbolt
Guardian.
Thunderbolt Guardians. Is that right? Either way, I trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is a war leader for adamantine arrows.
Those are the ones that go out on loan to do things and stuff.
And so she already has experience with this, and it's like, hey, we might throw down. And she's like, all right, everybody listen up. And everyone went, yes, ma'am, what's up? And so she strides out because she sees the unaligned contingent kind of coming over. And so she's like, okay, hang on. What's up? And she looks over and sees you, and it's immediate. There's no disrespect, but it's the trouble. Because every time Petrichor shows up, she wants to do something. It's going to be mayhem and trouble. And she looks at you and she says, this is your fault. You started this.
Allow me to offer a solution then.
And she kind of motions to the space and kind of steps back.
May I ask an Abrimos among you to bestow upon me the gifts of truth?
I dig that. Yeah, because it is definitely a multi-path variety. And so Nalita goes, Okay, walks over and places her hand on your shoulder and just leaves it there. But yeah, you definitely words of truth, right? Yeah. Yeah, we get to bypass translation anyways. Yeah, I dig it.
I know that I have caused trouble in my passings, in my doings here amongst their order. I have a knack for finding trouble. And find it I and my coven have. I don't know how connected to the goings on any one of you are to that is happening out in the West. But we have seen pressure both from envoys of yourselves as well as of the people in the other castle. There is a gathering of forces happening. And I think you all understand that we stand on the precipice of war, both magical and mundane, in America. Within this trouble, my coven has discovered in our dealings with freeing enslaved folks a plot that a organization amongst the seers known as the Serpents
Instant muttering.
are engaged in to create a machine with which they wish to house a supernal known as Heartache, a being of infinite minds and sadness. And this extra-dimensional god machine would be the last tool that the seers need to crush the rebellion, as they see it, of free mages. In light of my ongoing conflict in this, I find I am searching for power and allies that I ought perhaps to have considered more closely before. And it is my opinion, perhaps that I have already convinced some of the neutral folks here as well, that the Tempest and our order can no longer be a neutral party, an apolitical order. And that if the seers are pushing for total control, that we cannot afford to let the Tempest be a tool in that arsenal.
Like Nalita kind of steps back, takes her hand back, recognizing the call to action. And that's when shit hits the fan.
Oh, cool.
Because from the seer side, they watch as the majority of the unaligned folks move towards the Diamond Order. The few unaligned, nameless mages who don't go over, take to the skies or disappear into the shadow and leave. And they're like, oh, hell no, you guys don't get the first strike. So thunderbolts start falling. There was a prime spell happening over there. They weren't sure what it was. It was localized. It's just one subject. It wasn't a big AoE, but they're like, no. Whatever this is, we don't like it. And I mean, thunderbolts start to strike.
Cool.
Yep. So I don't know that you have any legacy, not legacy, attainment stuff that helps you with forces. Obviously mage armor, which is reflexive, so we'll be applying that here in a second. But I don't think, because you have, oh no, never mind, you don't even have any of the 4-dot stuff, because I don't think, yeah, forces immunity, that's the one I was thinking of. And then you still have this, and that's just environmental tilt in extreme, so that won't help either. So yeah, from the empty sky, you catch not literal thunderbolt, which is lethal, but lightning itself. 224. There we go. And this is truthfully a irritation. I mean, it's hardcore. But yeah, that's 10 bashing from a lightning bolt. And let's see, what would probably be the most advantageous armor? I'm sure forces, but and automatic damage from lightning, but because I don't think spirit, no, kinetic attacks. Okay, so that ends up being 7 points of bashing, which I think is, some of that's going to roll over to lethal. Oh damn, Petrichor got health.
Yep.
I
have 8 boxes.
Oh, nice. Got some wound penalties, but we're up. We're not risking unconscious. That said, this is just like one single call lightning with fuck that area as the area. So you watch as a bunch of mages get struck. Nobody goes dead. Like there's between mage armor, some of these folks like Nalita just like tanks it and just like gets a like sassy hands on hips going, what the fuck, like look over there. But it's clearly like that's the warning shot. But there are other mages who are less prepared or have a little less stamina, because I mean, at minimum, for becoming a Tempest, I think it was 2 forces, right? Yeah. So like at minimum, some folks, or excuse me, at max, folks are taking like 8 points of damage. And if they don't have Isabel level, they've got to roll that stamina so you watch a couple folks start falling unconscious. And Delita just like sassy pose and is just calling everybody back into the castle, pull back, take care of that, rapid fire orders. Abigail is like, yes, please, and moves into the castle. What is Petrichor's move? Some of the other nameless are taking off and like, we're not involved in this. Some are following Abigail's stride and heading into the castle.
This is that impulsiveness.
Not only are you impulsive, but you're on the Tempest. Like this is just, it pushes all the worst decision making.
She is not feeling great though.
Nope.
So she will retreat, and as she goes to like step inside behind something, she will blast off an Alphoth.
Nice. I like that it's a verb. Yeah, I just Alphoth the castle. Which in my head is it's a 2-part motion. There is a bird and then the pistol firing out. And I think there's, some kind of amusement amongst, some of the other some of the Diamond Order who are also coming back within the castle, because you're pointing a pistol like this, and then that lightning bolt rips. Because if I remember correctly, that's the Alphoth blast.
It's his Numina, yeah.
Right. So it does a little bit more, if I remember correctly, because it's flat out lethal. Yeah. Range is 10 yards per dot of power. So that'll be close to the limit. But then if it succeeds, it wounds, so you don't even have to hit, which is the best part. I'm not going to make you roll just because this is more fun narrative. And then max weapon bonus is equal to rank. And do you remember how much essence you have in that?
I mean, she keeps it close to full, but doesn't let it get full.
Right.
And it's his pool.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes. Let me scroll back here.
Which is 20 something.
Because it was rank 3. Because I don't think he was rank 4.
No.
Okay.
He's rank 3, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So he had 20 essence. So we'll say you were clear. You kept it at 18.
Mm-hmm.
So if you empty the barrel, so to speak, empty the magazine, that's 9 lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. 9 lethal, because it starts at 0 lethal. So yes, there was the big lightning, the thunder crack, and everybody runs for cover and is getting in a defensive position, and Isabel steps back, blam, and it's not even a jagged lightning bolt, right? It is just this solid beam of lightning, because it's a blast. It's not a lightning bolt,
right.
But it is eye-searing. I imagine for everybody except for Isabel, they have that after image blue line, and for her, she doesn't even see it. It doesn't affect her. And there is the distant sound of a scream, and a chunk of cloud blown out of the castle, and you're like, well, that's empty. And everybody kind of hunkering back down, and Nolita looks over at you with this she's a little bit pissed that you fired back and kind of escalated more, but also
I told you what I was here to do,
right? And she nods and she goes, all right, after Petrichor's example, and just a salvo of favored spells, lots of lightning just firing back. For narrative purposes, holy fuck. There is definitely, for Petrichor, I imagine, there's a point where she's like, I feel confident in this fight. And then she realizes how inexperienced she is in mage war. Dealing with bandits, spirits, supernals, individual mages, arcane duels, done that. And then watching the ballet of spells being thrown, counter spells, wards flying up, immediately destroyed by Prime, somebody going, find the Prime mage who's doing that, because get the one in the dress. We have to shut this down. And it is just back and forth. The castle is getting destroyed. People are using Forces magic to repair it, which is a weird concept in this place that for most Tempestari, it just forms because of the connection to the spirit of the Tempest. But it's, a little bit slower. And just this back and forth, it takes 5 minutes. Of just constant burning through mana, because eventually overreach becomes a problem, paradox becomes a problem. It's like, oh yeah, we're totally safe from sleepers here, but overreaching starts to add up and everybody's reaching for instant cast, and it is just absolute mayhem. And we pick up with Isabel pulling back effectively to the inner keep, because the front of the Diamond Order castle is a shambles. And the Seers have moved forward and now have a bulwark midway forward. Because unfortunately, population-wise, they're pretty equal to the Diamond Order. Unfortunately, Seers have the backing of the Iron Gods. And while there's probably one or two folks within the Diamond Order Tempest Starry who may have an artifact or two, the Seers have quite a few. And the folks over there, boy, there's a bunch of folks who, follow. I don't believe it's the general now. It might be. But yes, the Exarch of War, who's been quite active recently. And it is definitely a we need to fall back or leave. Like, we can probably come back to the Tempest Starry and to the Tempest and make another attempt here. But the Diamond Order, they're taking casualties. They're taking wounds. At this point, I do not think anybody has gone so far as to outright kill. Nobody is snatching up souls. The Songbird special. Well, not really Songbird, Atratus special. Songbird special is destroy all your spells. But yeah, where like it's still like the Geneva Convention is applying to this. We're not escalating. It's a we're going to beat you up, not we're out to kill you. But there is definitely a concern that we have wounded.
That's the next step,
right? And especially if they get their eyes on a bunch of folks and go, well, we could kill them all right now, then they very well might. Backed into the corner. So we pick up with Petrichor having taken a few more hits, down some mana.
Like half full of lethal.
Yeah. Because I imagine she's not one to shirk back. She's going to be involved.
No.
Abigail is back and is basically playing medic. She can throw spells, but that's not her. Well, she can fight, but that's not her thing. And so she is patching people up. She's waking people back up. It's like, listen, nope, you do not want to be unconscious right now. You need to get up and either get to the front or leave. And so, you basically have your Helm's Deep moment, where Nelita is looking at you and she's got like the wild, she's got a new cut. She is in her element and she's looking at you and others, and going, well, we can do this or we can come back. And you can see she's fighting the Tempest Starry urge to fuck it, we ball. And no, I need to tactically retreat. I need to save everybody I have here. And then we can reconsider our options. What does Petrichor do and or say?
I think she's like backed up against a brick of cloud. And goes to reach to refill her revolver and finds an empty pouch.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yep. Action hero moment. Free reloads. Wait, I'm out. Oh no. Yep.
Having been fighting as much with spells as with just shooting people.
Dude, Arcana of gun. Yep.
With like some subtle like kinetic magic from forces on her gun, like it's It's effective.
Yeah. Well, when everybody else is defaulting to, oh, I feel comfortable with lightning, she's like, aha, surprise. Yeah.
So I think she's got that wild, that wild in her eyes too. That feral sort of, we're riding the lightning. This is what we're made for sort of fight. But I think she's also like horrified from this experience. And I think that moment of like, I'm out of bullets, kind of snaps her back. And she looks up at Nolita and we should leave.
Yeah, I think
we will fight smarter another day.
And she nods, and she's, it's definitely yep, that's what she needed to hear. She knew that was the right decision, but she was fighting having to do it. And if you're all hotheads because you're all Tempest story, but you, who was the first to go back, fuck you, and you're going, hey, we should probably go. She nods, and she's like, yeah, we should. And not through the shadow, because they very well may pursue us. And so she kind of offers her hand out to you, like warrior grasp, and then like reaches over to one of the other adamant sage. That was the one I was thinking of, but they're more retired. One of the other, if not Thunderbolt Guardian, Talons, but another like seasoned vet, and who reaches out and touches, and like there's suddenly like this group hug of everybody touching everybody, and all of you are yoinked out of this space, and you were in Boston, in the middle of a adamantine arrow, from what you could tell, bunker. Like it is devoid of decoration. It is like there's not even like armory. It is basically a big empty space, and there's the squad of you and a few new adamantine arrow folks who have like rifles and more modern gear, and are clearly loaded down in like occult esoterica and stuff like that, like talismans and shit, and like, oh, okay, hold on, Nolita, what the fuck is happening? Like, you guys showed up out of nowhere. She's like, it's Tempest starry things. These are all allies, and we're going to escort them out. And kind of looks to you, Abigail, the rest, and goes, I'm not going to ask you to be blindfolded because you are my siblings, but you do not see anything.
Petrichor just waves her hand across her eyes, and like they cataracts? Like with the passing, they're like cataracts. Yeah,
I like that. You're like, I'll do it. Yeah, that's fine. And she kind of looks at you, like, not that Isabel can see, but it's definitely like, all right, respect. All right, that's kind of badass. Like, I'll be blindfolded. I don't care. And so, yeah, you feel her hand on your shoulder and kind of steering you, and the shuffling sounds. Thank you, Chris. I don't have to describe the bunker. Thanks, bud. Yeah, and escorted out, and you go from Colorado to balmy, Tempest starry, hurricane, humidity to, oh, it's Boston. It's kind of chilly. It's probably still humid, but you know.
It's what season are we in now?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we haven't reached we haven't even reached fall. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we're still summer. Yeah, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, late summer. So it's like cooler than it should be.
Right. But
in her brain, but
right. And so like you step out into that air, and then Nolita kind of taps your shoulder, and she's like, okay, good enough.
blinks away the spell.
Yeah. And yeah, you're in now it's like a courtyard, like a beer garden. We're going to say, just for the sake of time, that it's, kind of like early-ish still. It's not particularly populated. The rest of the rest of the Tempest Starry are there. Like some are still getting like patched up. Some are, using magic. And like it's wild to have gone from 20 minutes ago, y'all were talking this massive fight, and now people are just being patched up and no scars, no wounds. Well, it's a mental, like, I've seen some shit, because for many of those folks, other than maybe the adamantine arrow folks, like that was their first time seeing like a mage fight, and seeing the full devastation of it. And fortunately, the only collateral damage there was cloud, as opposed to buildings and sleepers. And it's just like, oh yeah, I can definitely see why we lean on the dual arcane wherever possible. And Nalita takes a seat, and looking very, very out of, up on the cloud, the Greek tunic thing looks fine. Here now in the middle of a Boston beer garden, it's like, yeah, that is kind of out of sorts. I mean, so is your attire for that matter. But and she kind of sits, heaves a sigh, and kind of looks at you and goes, "You just start shit, don't you?" And like, there's a wry smile, but
for what it's worth, I was the first one attacked.
True. You were talking. Yeah. And to be fair, like, y'all got hit simultaneously, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah. And true. You just, you fired back. That's fair. But so, machine, I think you said, and kind of like turn.
Also God.
Yeah. Kind of turns, and probably similar to you, that innate sense of there's the Tempest off in the distance, and looking at it. Well, we're gonna have to figure that out.
I think Petrichor is much more quiet than usual. She is once again, in quick succession, proved to be too big for her britches. Or not big enough for it. I don't know how the...
Yeah, don't get too big for your britches. Yeah, so she's... Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways. And there's a beer in front of her, and she's gonna sit and think about it for a while.
Yep. Yeah. Probably not even reply back to Nalita. Just like a nod to her comment about a god. Yep. She goes, okay, well, just kind of motions over to the tap house, and motions is like, well, you can drink for free, just don't go downstairs. If you want to chat later, they can get in contact with me. I have to go make plans. I'll keep you in the loop. Well. Purgatory Bluff, right? And
yep.
Everybody knows Petrichor of Purgatory Bluff, and like pats your shoulder. And this one is like, the others were like, warrior embracers. This has that. Well, we'll go ahead and say maternal, like.
Yeah, I was gonna say like big sister.
Yes, that. Yeah, where it's like, yep. You just saw. I remember the first time. Yep. and then also because you weren't the one to pull the shot, but you went over, you said, and so she knows there's going to be some of that weight. And I'll be honest, I think all mages have that. This is my fault. I did this for everything, because that's just what mages are. Pats your shoulder and then heads inside. Go check on her people. Abigail immediately replaces her seat and sits down with her tankard and kind of is looking into it and looking over at you and going, so that happened. And like her voice, like normally she's got, that sass and that energy, and she is just so small right now. Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I was mentally thinking, I was like, what does Abigail want to hear? And that's, I think, exactly what it is. And she nods and she goes, yeah, that's okay. I know you didn't mean it. Because for you, Purgatory Bluff is home. For Abigail, the Tempest is home.
Yeah.
And she's kind of just holding the mug. She's just sitting there. It's okay. I have my sanctum. I have places. If I get bored of them, I'll come steal your children in the night and feed them candy and take them to the circus. And then like there is a bit of the mentor aspect that you haven't seen in 5-6 years.
A while. Yeah.
She looks across at you and says, you have to fix this. And then like she kind of, addresses and she's like, well, you need to help fix this. She knows it's, more than a person.
I will find a way.
I know. It's what I like about you and what scares me.
The Tempest is ours.
And she gets a little bit puffed up then. She's like, fuck yeah. Yeah. And like, I think going so far as like her, the British accent really comes out, and like the hint of, because you've only known Abigail the witch, right? But some of the sleeper that's behind her, she's very much like Atreides was in the Rookery. Hey, did you not see the Rookery? Go watch the Rookery, where she just walked away from sleeper existence entirely. So for her, losing the Tempest, that's her connection to people. And Abigail the witch has connections to you and Jules and the girls, but she has no sleeper mundane people to lean back on. But yeah, the Tempest, yeah, it's ours. Yeah. But there's that part that like even her sleeper, the original OG Abigail, is like, yeah, that's mine, down to like her sleeper core of, yeah. So I'm going to stay here a while. I can patch more folks up. And I mean, some of them are nameless like me, so I'm going to make sure that, or nameless like us. So I'm going to make sure that they get fixed up and they get home. I'm going to play Mama Hen for a little bit because that's what I can do right now. And then, yeah, I don't know. It was a good.
All I know is I'm tired of struggling against things that are bigger than me.
She smiles and lifts the beer and says, cheers to that. Because, and she kind of looks back over her shoulder and she's like, just fuck them both. This shit is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Kind of takes a big swig of the beer, sets it down, kind of looks at it. Just like, it's German. Slides it across and then walks in.
In Boston?
That's true. It's probably not. That's true. Yeah, probably.
Of course, it's Irish.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, as a Brit. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's true. Yep. That's me and my not beer knowledge, but yeah. Irish.
Someone puts a whiskey in front of her and it's Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
Just like.
Yeah. But yeah. And she gets up, and I think the part that probably hits Isabel is the fact that Abigail gets up and like she pats her hand, but there's no hug.
Yeah.
The very sisterly, I'm mad at you.
Mm-hmm. I think like as she's walking away, Petrichor just almost offhandedly asks, "Do you know where the Tempest came from?"
She kind of pauses and looks back, and yeah, because like Abigail, I wouldn't say is necessarily a historian, and because it's not exactly a Tempest story thing, but she's like, I mean, it's old. It's, always been. It's the storm. As long as people have been afraid of storms, looked after storms, worship storms, it's been. I mean, and she kind of shrugs and motions you. You've been inside it. I mean, that's primal. It's original.
I can't help but imagine that it is this storm that has, in a way, watched over the earth.
I mean, when it passes, stuff grows. You know that.
Is it our clouds that flooded the world in times of Noah?
She kind of, I think she does kind of scoff because she's not religious the way Petrichor is, but she kind of like, she nods. She's like, yeah, I'll take credit for that one. Yeah, we flooded the whole damn place 40 days and 40 nights, right? Yeah, that was us. Like, and she says that with like no real knowledge, but she's like, it sounds right.
I think I'll need more than 40, but
you're gonna flood the whole world?
No, but I will fix this.
And like, I think that's the fade to black on the scene as like Isabel says that, Petrichor says that, and Abigail nods and smiles, and then like her eyes just get a little bit wide of like, oh fuck, she's gonna go do something else.
Oh no, she's doing things.
Did she think about it? No, of course she didn't. So that said,
what's she doing? Her best.
Yep. Her damnedest.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep. That's real.
So where do we pick up?
I think we pick up weeks later.
Sure. She's wild-haired in the dungeons of Gondor, flipping through tomes looking for the origin of the Tempest. Gandalf style. No.
Not quite. But
sure.
I think it has been weeks of relying on Legba to some extent to make some connections. And to continue discussions with the Diamond folks.
The exiled Tempestari.
Well, yeah, and just like some like, and the Diamond mages that they're connected to outside of.
Gotcha. Okay. And just kind of like, hey, God Machine is a thing. We need to get on this. Okay. So, yeah, because when the revival had left, you guys hadn't really clued them into Heartache or the machine.
And so I think it's finding them, and like, I should have told you more. When you were in our town.
Okay.
And I think Isabel is so humbled in this moment that, like, the idea, the idea that she could just do what she wanted in the face of titanic forces of the world is just laughable to her now.
Yeah, I mean, I have Gnosis 5, I have all this Arcana, I can change all this stuff. Of course I can do all this.
I'm just one bitch, though.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, I think she goes home and she licks her wounds and reconnects, but then she, through combination of connections between different Diamond folks, like, start spreading some word of this, and like, in her mind, the power of the serpents comes from working from the shadows.
Yeah, and cat's paws and puppets.
You want to be the boogeyman, then I'm going to turn on the fucking lights.
I like that. Okay.
And in doing that, I think she's giving out these information. She's trading like services of what she can offer with her magic to trade with others, and pushing to try and learn more of the Arcana that she's interested in. And just like trying to like brute force crash course her way into more power. And the ways that they all fit together, right? It stems from that mushroom.
Right.
This understanding of Portia's lifetime and spirit. It is that one moment that has like spurred her on.
Gotcha.
And so I think the actual scene that we pick up in is having accomplished some of these talks and meetings and stuff. It's funny, you kind of joked about it earlier, but with or without Legba, we can decide that later based on I don't know what he's doing. So
sure.
But she is looking for the Tempest in the Anima Mundi.
Perfect. Love it. Because I actually checked in with Ralph after our session of what Legba would be up to and doing in the coming weeks and months, and his comment was, I'm going to be around helping, and then other plans, but because Legba, you want to go into the astral? Legba's on board, absolutely.
There's one avenue that a bunch of Tempestari are not going to consider to defend. is gonna be Anima Mundi.
Yep. Like Abrimos, they don't have the big inferior arcana for mind, but even then they're pushing the very physical realm with spirit and forces. So
right.
I like that. So Legba drops you off in the Anima Mundi. Having walked you there. Well, actually, I guess I will say, are you talking about like going there astrally or physically?
Astrally.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, the reason I ask is technically it is possible because he has.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Mind in space.
Yeah.
So he could literally teleport you in there. Yeah, I probably don't want to do that. You give up your Amnion.
Right.
So,
right.
Welcome to the Anima Mundi. And it's whipping ecstatic wind. Remind me what her Amnion looks like? Because I know you had that up.
Yeah, it is a fuller extension of the Calavera makeup that she uses when she's in her full like ritual sort of presentation. And it is a like tight through the body but sweeping out dress made of mariposas.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah, of monarch butterflies.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
And which
I can't remember if I've actually explained that connection.
Go ahead.
On the show before, but monarch butterflies have like massive migration patterns, and they use these fronts of storms to propel them at a speed faster than a butterfly should really be able to go.
Yeah, because they go from like mid North America down
way down in Mexico,
right,
all the way up to, vice versa. But
and they're still little,
thousands of miles,
right? And we're talking butterflies, not birds. So they need literally big old pushes. Love that. So we have obviously she had, she's got the dress, but I feel like she still has boots beneath, right? And so we have the dress just flowing backward as this wind just rips at you. And this is the first wind Petrichor has ever not liked. Right? Because this thing, it's not wind so much as this astral energy that is just ripping at herself, right? In the sense of personality. And unfortunately, does more damage based on your gnosis. I'm not going to worry about that for now, because it's going to be little ticks of damage. But delving into the Anima Mundi, and fortunately, travel in the astral is based on concept and thought. So it's not like you have to search for the Tempest so much as just will yourself there, which is frustrating because you will yourself there and you move through it and watch as terrain, rocks, the idea of rocks, places just go whipping by and keep whipping by and keep whipping by, and you're like, where is it? And it just never quite coalesces. Like, in some way or another, it is like you're moving towards it, but never arriving. It feels like one of Legba's tricks, right? Where like something is veiling it or the path to it or something like that. So there is like a clear, it should be here. And it's like using modern parlance is your computer is just loading and is at 99%. And the estimated time doesn't have a number. And it's just like, and then
Cool.
And eventually I feel like she kind of sidesteps and kind of throws herself and you stumble towards man, I can't remember what they're called. The Aeons. You know, and the edge out towards the abyss and the edge of the Anima Mundi effectively.
Right.
And kind of turn back around, which feels weird having the abyss at your back, and just look, and somewhere out there in the infinite thoughts of rocks should be the Tempest or something that represents it. Because there's something in the Temenos, right, which is going to be basically what the Tempestari think of the Tempest, but the actual thoughts of the Tempest and its self. Just to remind folks at home, the Anima Mundi, where the Temenos is the thoughts of people and what they think about things and how those kind of coalesce. The Anima Mundi is the thoughts of the world. You want to go find what Jupiter is thinking about? This is where you do it. Stuff is weird. You want to find out the thoughts of raccoons? They're an example. They're called animal masters. You can go find yes, thank you. Took me a second. But you know, they exist. Go find the archetypal raccoon and get its blessings. That's legitimately, it's in the book. I love it. I don't get sidetracked.
New campaign.
New plans. Fuck Petrichor. So yeah, it feels like there is something out there. For Chris's sake, I will give you that, like, this is something that there's potentially a clash of wills that you could come across, but Petrichor literally has none of the stuff for that.
Cool.
Yeah. She is kind of separated. So she has two options, and Drew thinks he knows, but I'm gonna put the stuff out there. She can find Legba and ask for help, or she just tries really hard.
I think she tries really hard.
Yeah. Because I in my head, I am reading this as Petrichor going, this is the thing I should be able to do.
Yeah. I'm connected to it.
Right.
I should be able to get there.
Yeah.
It is in some ways more sentient than all the fucking rocks.
Yep.
So it should have a fucking presence here.
You have a connection to it from your legacy. So you throw yourself back into the Anima Mundi with the sole purpose of, I will find the Tempest. And shit starts to get weird.
Oh.
There is that rushing sensation of movement, and there's the blurring and everything. But then it starts to, like I said, get weird, and the motion stops, but you haven't set your foot down, and you're kind of in this in-between place. And just because you liked it so much, like a raccoon master. So this gigantic, super stereotyped, folks on YouTube, come by Discord and ask me, and I'll show you a picture of them. They're wild looking. I love them. Comes up to you and like, this is a raccoon the size of you, and kind of, what are you looking for?
storm.
And then you're moving again. The raccoon is gone, and you're just flying by. I feel, and you basically have the Aesop's Fable cast, right? Mr. Frog comes along. What are you looking for?
The Tempest.
You go flying through again. A pile of rocks that vaguely make a shape and grind together out the words. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the Tempest, Brother Rock.
And then you're flying off again and again. And like A through Z, all the different animals, A through Z, all these different, rock, but then also like, oh my gosh. I can't remember it. Sorry. The big red rock in Australia. Sorry, gang. Word isn't coming to mind.
I don't remember the non-colonial name of it.
I know. That's what I was struggling with too. But yes. And hell, the freaking Gulf of Mexico, who's like, yeah.
No, I know where it is.
And he looks at you, and like the mouth starts to open, and then you're flying off again. And it's like, that was the guy. I'm going to ask you to start making some rolls.
Okay.
I would like some resolve plus composure rolls. I need 15 successes.
The hell? Okay.
And Isabel. And you have how much resolve plus composure? 6. So yeah, that's going to be in 6 turns. I recommend using willpower. 3 of 15.
I'm trying to scroll way back up.
Mm. 4. 4 of 15. 6 of 15. 8 of 15. Come on, where's the songbird rolls? Oh crap, I lost track.
11.
6, 11 of 15. I swear to
15.
God, did you seriously do that the 6?
I did it.
15 and 6 rolls.
3, 4, 6.
Yep.
8, 11, 15. Wow. Okay, what am I rolling?
So yeah. Things get weirder. You have spoken to every plant, tree, body of water, animal that Petrichor recognizes, and some that she doesn't. There's this platypus that goes by that she's like, you aren't real. And he's like, yes, I am. Whoosh, go flying by. It's like, that's a weird monstrosity. It's the duck bill, but a beaver body. That's not right. Yeah. Shout out to my boy, the platypus. And then you start to see, even more so than the platypus, things that clearly aren't. And I think the first you see is like, it's a dead giveaway that this isn't real. It looks like a tornado funnel, right? But it's upside down. And rather than sucking things up, it is more of this concussive force down, smashing into things instead of throwing things up or out. I guess technically tornadoes do pull things in, but yeah. And it comes over and says, is it me? And like, it is a monstrous tornado cyclone, but also you-sized and like is close and personable at the same time. Is it me?
Couldn't be you.
And then whoosh, moving again, you see like it's a gorgeous waterfall, right? This like wonderful tableau, all these green trees, but it is wrong. And as you watch, it's like, oh yeah, this is wonderful. That's not water. Just this torrent of glittering, shining blood pouring down. And it comes over, and in the rushing sound of water says, "Is it me?"
No.
And you're moving on, and tableau after tableau, some of them twisted and weird blood waterfalls, others are like, actually that's kind of nice things, like some straight up like unicorn glade level of just like, lay down and relax here, all is well and comfortable, and you're like, no, no, there's something wrong.
Do not come to rest.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. It's like, no. Still looking. You are not the storm. And then you step free of that, whatever that was. Though I think Petrichor probably knows what that was. Chris might be figuring out what that was. Then I need a single Gnosis plus Resolve roll.
Gnosis plus Resolve.
I'm double checking. Well, technically, as written, it's Resolve plus Gnosis. But yes.
I see. 2 successes.
No willpower left.
Yep.
Nothing but net. 2 successes. And the motion stops. This zipping through stuff, and you stand in a place you have not seen in more than a decade, for sure, because it is familiar, because every time you turn on your mage sight, you see hints of it, but it is the Primal Wilds. And it is not like, the material world with the filter of the Primal Wild. Is that the right place? Yeah, okay. It's like Pandemonium I have memorized. Stygia I have memorized. Theosis stuff, man, I don't touch that shit. They're inferior as mine. I ain't playing with them.
The best.
Yeah. But yeah, you have...
Shout out to Abrimos, but Theosis is the best.
Shout out to Songbird, the most Theosis Abrimos ever. And yeah, you have not seen this in a long time. And there is a moment where you're like, hey, I didn't expect to find this, but this is a homecoming, right? And this is where my magic comes from. And then you feel the lack of the lustrum, the thing that made you safe by the watchtower, by the oracles, depending on who you're asking. Technically always the watchtower, but and you stand in the Primal Wild, and it starts to consume you. While the Anima Mundi rips away with the ecstatic wind, this is just a place that you cannot be at all. And it starts to destroy you. But you're like, well, and sorry, I'm playing your character just slightly, but Petrichor goes, whoa, I still have to find the storm. And with your 2 successes, push back just a little to give yourself some breathing space. And give yourself a place to stand, and are confronted with a large black dog.
Yo, what up, dude? No, not how sugar
No, it is, and it is the time dog, but it is not like the version you've seen. This is the third evolution of the time dog, right? Previously you have seen a storm in a dog's body. This is a storm that happens to look like a dog. It is writhing cloud, lightning flashing in its eyes, the flash of lightning through the whole body for that matter. And it steps forward and growls in a animalistic challenge to you. And trying to think of how it comes across. Well, yeah, because it speaks fluent high speech, which you understand. You just don't speak high speech fluently. And it says, "You have found it." But the words, as you understand them, have such an odd parsing that it also sounds like the storm has found you. It also sounds like you founded the storm. It also sounds like the storm is you. There's all these layers that, like, Petrichor is like, I should have paid more attention in class. And then it headbutts you. And Petrichor has a glimpse of where the storm started. It is, hang on, where's my Dark Eras book? I'm not going to find it. It is quite some time BCE. Humans haven't started counting things in terms of time. There is still broken oral history of a world that was before this one. The people talk of spirits moving about and great hunters that hunt spirits and hunt men and women and children and anything else. But
sure.
And Petrichor finds herself at the first thunderstorm. And with your mage sights on at crank to 11.
Full blast. Yeah.
You see the forces of the storm, the lightning, the wind, all the we'll say scientific stuff that Jules would just drool over, right? All the little details of its motion. But there in the center of it is this rank 0 moat that then grows and becomes a rank 1, and grows and becomes a rank 2. And in the distance, somehow, Isabel hears cries of wonder and dismay at this cloud that was this big, puffy white thing becoming darker and begins to rumble. And you feel a innate connection to it. As it grows to be rank 2 and then stops.
Is the vision or I'm there?
Sure.
I mean, is it a cutscene or is it?
You are there. Yeah, like Isabel is in full Mariposa gown and butterflies and calavera and gun on her hip.
Um, I think she flies up to it.
Yep. Wind and clouds batter, air quotes for the podcast folks, at her, but like it kind of just passes by. Like there's no effort to it. This is natural for her and has been for a while. And the rank 2 little spirit turns and looks at you, and like it is a roiling mass of potential, I think. Right. It hasn't even really taken a form outside of the center of this storm. And like,
I think she reaches out and grabs it
yep, easy. Like you don't even
and just
spend
full on
mana.
like both hands just on it, like in a like almost predatory way.
I dig it. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
And I think there's a moment that she's like contemplating devouring it.
I mean, you're rank 5, it's rank 2.
And then in the first tongue.
Sure, which she is fluent in. High speech, nah. Give me something practical. I'm not learning Latin. I'm going to go learn Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Sure, in modern era. Yeah.
So there's this moment where she's like brought it up, and I think like her like the skull pulls back, and there's like this almost like unhinging of the jaw that she can feel. And then she presses that instinct down. And she leans in close to it. Says, "You are going to do great and terrible things. Go forth. Grow. Whip the world with your winds. Level fields and houses. Temples and keeps. But bless the world in your passing. And let it regrow afterwards."
Something Shahilud.
Yeah, something like that. And then she will use her attainment and breathe a storm into the storm.
Man, I couldn't have written it better. I love that. Yes. And yeah, placing a storm within a storm. In my head, I'm kind of imagining this like almost maternal kiss to the forehead on a baby kind
absolutely.
of thing.
It is absolutely, it's a cross between that and like giving someone CPR.
I like that. Yeah. And then her vision kind of comes back, and she steps back from the forehead blow from the time dog. And she has now enough sense to kind of look about herself. And I don't know how much forethought you have given this, Chris, but would you like to describe your Petrichora's Sintamani? That is your foothold in the supernal realm, the itty bitty gap that you have laid your claim in. It is not the Golden Road, which, hey, congrats, you have. And it is not the Chantry, which is something that you would build later. This is the chunk of the supernal that you went and said, this is mine, this is a safe place, I can stand here. If you want to delve further into the supernal, if you want to meet with other supernal beings, of which you are almost one, then you have to conjure up the lustrum, and that is an effort. But here you can stand, and it is the gateway into the supernal and a potential way to ascension, besides some other methods. But yes, like this is a space that is petrichor down to the bones, right? This is going to be symbols of who she is as like with ascension, that becoming a supernal being herself, of becoming a supernal symbol. These are her symbols and what they look like and what they reflect.
It is the edge of a jungle clearing as it gives way to the sort of cliffside drop into a cenote.
Hell yeah.
Which, if you're not familiar with that geological formation, it is essentially like a sinkhole of limestone cave, essentially, and usually has like a big lake underneath it.
Yep. Go look them up. Go Google it. CENOTE.
Yep. There
Gorgeous.
are many of them in Mexico.
Yeah.
And there are, I think, flittering around the edges, there are spirits of the jungle, jaguars and such, of a wilder version of her home. And there is the sort of mirrored drop into the cenote that also is the drop into the sky.
Ooh, I like that. We have like, oh, it's the reflection of the sky and the water. No, that's more sky.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Any big symbols in terms of like capital S things that, stand for, storm, family?
I mean, yeah, it is not nice weather here.
Gotcha.
Certainly. I think on the like far edge from where she's standing across the drop, there's like a a grass hut with like a symbol of like a home and a family, of a scratched out existence in the wild, of humanity. And there is music.
I like it. Yeah. Like just the music from nowhere, of not necessarily impossible.
Yeah.
Things the like, now I'm imagining trees that have holes carved in them, or not even carved, but have holes in them that just cause, so as the wind flows by. Yeah.
I don't know that I have any other details.
Okay.
Like there is the storm, there's the like reflected drop of like the deeper you go, the higher you are. Which which feels like the sort of approach to mystery that Petrichor has formed.
Mm-hmm.
And it is wild and free in a way that Isabel was never afforded.
I like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, their visiting is the Time Dog, who you probably now better understand to be the birth of the Tempest. That moment when Storm was brought to the material plane for the first time, and it carved itself out. The dog, the wolf, the dangerous beast, the helpful companion, cannot let it get its teeth on you. And you only control it so far. Because we've always called it dog, but it is definitely a wolf.
It is a wolf,
right?
Yeah.
And it just sits and like nods to you. And at the end of our episode, we have one word: mother. And that's where we will end it. We'll talk more about other stuff. And but yes, welcome to Arc Mastery. Welcome to Spirit 6.
There's not a dot for that.
Nope. We have to do it manually. Though now, and I'm so glad I didn't bother to close Photoshop. So let me just go back in here and change that 5 into a 6. Yahoo. Let me tell you what, I was clenching with those resolve and composure rolls. I was so nervous because now I can talk a little bit about Ralph and his rolls, because let me jump back over there. That man done hacked roll 20. Now, admittedly, he was rolling more dice because of his
got a few more dots to resolve and composure,
and also has his meditative mind, which gives him bonuses on all resolve plus composure rolls. But my guy rolled 3, 7, 4, 7. Just like
that's way too many.
Yeah, it's like he had like 8 rolls and he got it in 4. I was like, oh yeah, this won't be too bad. I had not thought about, he does have a couple more bonuses there. But fortunately, hey, nailed the dismount with the resolve plus gnosis, which is the first rolls are getting through the abyss. And then the other roll is does the supernal just shred you out of existence? So good job with that one, because after the other ones, I was clenched.
I was scared.
Because at this point, I'm like, I don't want anybody to fail that roll. Statistically speaking, it shouldn't happen, but I am totally ready for the return of Rilla or Gisela.
Are you gonna close the episode or?
Oh yeah, no, that's just me chatting, and the audience all gets to hear that.
I didn't want to cut you off. I don't know.
But yes, thank you for reminding me. Hi, gang. Sorry, I was just vibing with one of my players. They all saw all this stuff anyways, so hopefully. Again, please don't skip episodes. This is weird. Anyways, come by Discord. You won't be able to spoil this for anybody because it will have already. Well, actually, you could spoil it if you're, so don't, but yeah, you get it. Come by Discord, www.yeetinto.space, kind of what Chris just did. Yeetinto.storm. And if you want to support us monetarily, again, not needed, not required. That's www.staylucky.club. Come chat with us. Love to hear what y'all hear about our next arc, because it's going to be wild. We'll see you next time.